welcome to the undisputed heavyweight champion of the world show made for the fans by a fan. I am your host, as always, Richard Tiemann. This is the award-winning Fan Show. Thank you for tuning in. I'm feeling much better, by the way. I appreciate all the well wishes that I received yesterday. Overall, it was great to know that you guys care. I'm kidding. I know that you care. But no, on a serious note, I felt the love. I did. I felt the love. It felt good. Some of you, as I cough into my microphone, some of you may or may not know, but I'm a person that I hate getting sick, and I know a lot of people do. That seems like big surprise. Everybody hates getting sick. Yeah, but it's like, so when you were a kid and you didn't want to go to school, like, you faked being sick to get out of going to school so that you could stay home and watch The Price is Right. Okay, but as an adult, as someone who does what I do, I hate getting sick because I'm a momentum and enthusiasm person, and if I have aches or chills and like no energy to do stuff, I hate that feeling. First and foremost, it's the worst feeling in the world. When you want to get out there, you want to accomplish stuff, you have tasks that you want to do, you want to go out there and get it done. And if you have aches and chills and you're a fever and whatever, it's like you didn't ask for that, but it's happening to you, and you could try to fight it, but it's probably just going to be worse. And I've had that happen to me during, like, when I was playing flag football. One fall, I got the flu, and that sucked because I couldn't go out there and play, and I wanted to. And I think I've even gotten sick on a stop or two for the Fan Show tour over the years. And nothing is worse. Let me tell you, nothing is worse than being sick and getting on a plane. Like, it's just, it's already like an anxiety in itself to be on a plane. But to be sick and around people, and you're just trying to go home, that's a bad feeling too. So, but then when it comes to like sore throat, losing your voice, all the phlegm, for what I do here, it sucks because I could have like 101 temperature, aches and chills, and maybe not feel that great. But if my voice is working fine, if my voice is up to par, I could probably get through a show. I'm not saying it's going to be like the Michael Jordan flu game, but I am saying that I could get through an episode just fine. It might be some brain farts here or there or some tongue twisters, but I would still try to fight through it to do the show. I had no voice yesterday, and it sucked because I felt good enough to do the show, but it would have been, you wouldn't be able to hear anything except for maybe a squeak here or there. So it's good to be back. I'm glad to be back. It's Wednesday. It's one of my favorite days to do the show. If you guys are listening, you guys can tune in on the Facebook Live, which is facebook.com/fanshowofficial. I see that we've got a few of you already tuned in already. And then we have Spreaker.com. If you can't watch, you can listen, and you can jump in on the chat there as well, which I'll encourage you to do anyway, because when we get to our interview portion of the show, we're going to stop the live feed, and we're going to switch over to there to finish out the show. But we'll get through headlines. We'll get through everything. We'll get all caught up. But I do want to send a sincere thank you to you guys for the well wishes. It was nothing overly serious. It's just really an inconvenience, and I get grumpy when I'm sick, and you don't want to hear that because nothing sounds good. Let's check in on some comments right now, though. Adam says, the feeling when you sneeze and your entire body feels like it's going to fall apart. Yeah, that sucks. That's one of the worst feelings. There was a moment last week, or a couple of weeks, and I have bad allergies too, by the way, so that does not help this time of year. But sidebar, so I was at work a couple of weeks ago, and I felt the sneeze coming on, and we were having a meeting, right? So it was quiet, people are talking, and we're all in close proximity. So I tried to warn people that I was about to sneeze by saying, "Fire in the hole," but all that came out was, "Fire!" And that, I think, just scared everybody even worse. So I tried. I did. But yeah, when you sneeze and you feel like your body's going to come apart at the hinges, that sucks too. Let's see. No amount of tiny, overpriced alcohol drinks will help with the being sick on a plane. It's very true as well. That's facts right there. And I don't know sign language. I know a few things, but that's all. But it's all good. We're back. Got a great episode for you. I talked to Omar Cook coming out of retirement to go back to the IFL, and Mike Green had some comments about that. And it's funny because Omar reached out to me when I made that post. He's just like, I like where you're going with this, but people might think we actually have a beef. And I was like, in the history of my show, when have people ever thought that something with a headline like that was meant to be overly serious? But just to be on the safe side, I went back and I changed it. I said, spoiler alert, they're actually really good friends. And they are. They're the kind of friends that you aspire to be, you and your buddies, Mike Green and Omar Cook. So we had a good time catching up. He's excited to be in San Diego playing for the Strike Force. They need the help because they have a game this weekend, which we'll go over in depth tomorrow, obviously, Thursday's episode, which as of right now, the guest outlook for that is pretty good. Should have a pretty good guest for that one. I think we're actually supposed to talk right after this episode. So with that, without further ado or any more delay, let's go ahead. Let's get to the headlines. Headlines, of course, brought to you by Dynamite Enterprises, where they make awesome stickers like these ones of our outdoors division. And you can do coasters, koozies. They make stuff like this. They didn't make these, but they make stuff like this. Here's a little plug for Buzzard Billy's, the Iowa Barnstormers. That's a little something that I got from the first official stop on the Fan Show Tour 2019. Second official stop, Tri-Cities for the Tri-City Fire. Part of Heartlands. So Dynamite Enterprises, they can make you backdrops, t-shirts, koozies, coasters. They could do stickers. They can do polos, t-shirts, jackets, hats. You name it, they can do it. I mean, literally, I'm pretty sure their catalog is like this thick by now of all the things that Ethan can do. And if he can't do it in shop, he reaches out to somebody that can get the job done. And if the job doesn't get done right the first time, he will take care of you. And I can't refer people to him enough. It's been such a great business relationship here for the Fan Show. We've had such great products come from Dynamite Enterprises. There's nobody I'd rather do business with. So go ahead and hit up Ethan at dynamiteenterprises.com. That's his email. Or you can simply go to dynamiteenterprises.com and you can check out what they've got. And you can get that special something that you need for yourself, for marketing, for your business, for a special someone, whatever you need, they can do it. And so headlines, a lot of NFL stuff. Of course, it is the maybe not the most wonderful time of the year, depending on if you're a Packers fan or not, but it is the busiest time of the year. For NFL headlines, we had A.J. McCarron. He's going to go from Oakland to the Texans. Is this kid ever going to get a starting job again? Because we saw glimpses of it when he was with Cincinnati and had to fill in for Andy Dalton. And I remember thinking to myself, this kid is going to have such a great contract year. And I know that his contract isn't up, but he could get traded and the price would have to be right. And then that just didn't happen. So first question we'll start with for headlines is, will A.J. McCarron ever be a starting quarterback again, and not due to injury or some other fluke event? Like, will a team get him, sign him to be their starting quarterback, or to at least compete for the starting job? First question up. Then we saw Blake Bortles, speaking of quarterbacks, he went to the Rams for a one-year deal. And there's very mixed reviews on this, might I say. There are people that are saying that this is a perfect fit. He's going to be a fantastic backup for Goff, and he's going to be better developed with McVay, and he'll probably end up being a starter again for another team. Clearly, those are not Jacksonville Jaguars fans, because you're saying, bye, Felicia. Like, we can't get rid of you fast enough. And I don't know. This is one of those scenarios. In Green Bay, was it McCarthy or was it Aaron Rodgers? In Dallas, is it Jason Garrett or is it, the whole team? In Jacksonville, was it Bortles or was it the head coach? I mean, there's two sides to every story. Technically three. There's the one, the other, and then the truth, the facts, right? So Bortles and the Rams, great backup, serviceable backup, but the people saying that this is like the rebirth of Blake Bortles, I don't understand it. I really don't. But I'm not every fan. Randall Cobb has ended his time in Green Bay. He will go to the Cowboys on a one-year, $5 million deal. which was heartbreaking for some Packers fans, but not as heartbreaking as Clay Matthews going to the Rams on a 2-year, $16 million deal. Now, the Clay Matthews thing, some people are saying he's washed up, he's trash. This is clearly the Rams making another financial and strategic move to ensure that the playoff, their Super Bowl appearance this last year was not a fluke. I mean, the front office there has done a great job over the last couple of seasons. So I think they're putting the right people in place. Haloti Ngata has retired. He retired atop of Mount Kilimanjaro. And then Vontaze Burfict, he's going to the Raiders, which it's like a perfect fit for the Raiders. I never liked Vontaze. I really didn't. I think the league would be better without him. And that really does it for your NFL news. Transitioning, though, from the NFL to the AAF, Johnny Manziel is in the AAF. And really? Before we get into that, before we get into my rant and my rave, let's check in on the question. A.J. McCarron as a starting quarterback. Let's see. Adam says, I'm surprised A.J. McCarron didn't get picked up by one of the AAF teams. Granted, his rights would be for the Iron. That's true. That's a ticket seller, though. That's a very valid point. It's a very good point. That would sell tickets. Because who's their QB right now? It was Trent Richardson that was the big draw for the Iron. And A.J. McCarron is a guy that I think is what the AAF is built for. He's had a few opportunities at the starting quarterback position, but his development probably needs some work because he's been a backup ever since. So that is, that's the perfect moment. Johnny Manziel does not belong in the AAF. This is not a 4th, 5th, 6th, 7th, 8th, 9th, 10th last chance league. It's not. It's developmental. And yes, that does include character. But this guy has not been a backup waiting for his moment to start and just needed a few tweaks in the quarterback mechanics department. This is a guy who has had opportunity after opportunity after opportunity after opportunity and has washed out of the NFL. Dealt a bad hand or not in Cleveland, I don't care. Character over talent every single time. I will argue it till I'm blue in the face. Character over talent. This is what happens when you take talent over character. He gets banned from the Canadian Football League. Canadians who apologize for everything. Do you know how hard that has to be for someone to get banned from Canada's Football League? And he did it. And now he's going to be in the AAF. I don't like it. I don't. And I'm sorry. That's my rant. That's my rave. Done. We're moving on. Let's see. In Dallas, it's Garrett. Yeah, it is. Totally is. Yes, Perez is the QB for the Iron. McCarron would probably be a much bigger name. Now, Perez has an interesting story, granted. But this is obviously not a one and done at the quarterback position league. We've seen the quarterback carousel is like a regular thing for that league. So you put McCarron and Perez there, you've got quite the draw. Let's see. Love Johnny football at Texas A&M. He made terrible decisions. Yeah, like I said, character over talent. When you're in college and you have talent, you can play and behave the way that he did because you're in college. But when you get to the pros, and now they're paying you lots and lots of money to get W's and to show promise and to put butts in seats, you cannot any longer be that guy that it's like every night is a Friday frat party and you just got the biggest upset win in college history. You can't be that guy anymore because you're in Cleveland for one, and that doesn't happen a lot. So Baker, he's going to capitalize on that. Good for him. Let's see. The AAF, though, I went 1-3 in my picks this week. I was not happy about that. The Apollos, though, I did say if there was going to be an upset, it would be that. I just didn't want to be the guy to pick against the Apollos. They were the only undefeated team left, and it's crazy if you look at their respected records right now, though, that the Apollos, there's two teams that are only a game behind them, despite the fact that they were the last undefeated team in the league, and now they've suffered their first loss ever. I mean, it's absolutely crazy to me. So we started off the weekend, the Memphis Express losing by a lot to the Salt Lake Stallions. Now, I'm not saying that that's a surprise because it's the Stallions. I'm saying that Memphis looked like they had their together. They really did. But 22-9 was your final score, so clearly they didn't. And then the other half of Saturday was the upset. 22-17, Hot Shots over Apollos. This was a great game, though. I got to say, props on the game overall. Fantastic game. Came down to the wire. Back and forth. Like, if you could promise me that every AAF game would end up like this, I would tune in start to finish every single weekend. But unfortunately, it's not, because then Sunday, the Commanders thumped the Legends, who somehow have another win more than the Express do, and that was 37-6 at home for the Legends. And then to close out the weekend, the Birmingham Iron took it to the San Diego Fleet with a walk-off field goal, 32-29. These two teams are great. I really like the Iron and the Fleet. They're not very consistent. Obviously, San Diego 3-3, the Iron 4-2. But at least they're making it interesting. The Commanders are 4-2 as well. So like I said, there's two teams that are just a game behind Orlando, which is crazy because they were the last undefeated team remaining. And now it seems like it's anybody's season, I guess. Anybody's league, anybody's season. So their power rankings haven't really shifted a whole lot. We do have IFL power rankings coming up. And then, let's see, in other news here, Captain Marvel, I went and saw that. I thought it was great. There was a few questions that I wanted answered before the big finale, Avengers Endgame, that weren't addressed. But hey, it is what it is. But I thought the movie was very well done and put together. Who gave that movie a bad review? Like, honestly, it just the timing was right. And I know that we're all salivating and waiting for Avengers Endgame. And it's just like, so while you wait, here's a prequel. But, oh well. All-Star Bass Fishing's first round of Bass Battles went, and it went very well. Congrats to Bobby Brown and the guys at Bass Battles and All-Star Bass Fishing for a great opening weekend. It's a bracket style. It's head-to-head. It's not... who has the most weight at weigh-in. It's a head-to-head tournament. All you have to do is beat the guy that you're against. I think it's a great concept. Very interesting. Keeps it very interesting. WrestleMania season, of course, right now, full swing. Kurt Angle having his farewell match against, right now, Baron Corbin. Fan outcry has not been good. A lot of people were hoping for John Cena, and I will make my exception of the wanting more full-timers in the Mania events than part-timers, but there are certain exceptions that you need to make. But as I've said for years, and what I'll say again right now, is that the WWE is the one and only company that you will work your ass off full-time to get to a part-time position. Jericho, Undertaker, Triple H, The Rock, Cena, Angle, all part-timers, and they all have the most cush, luxurious contracts, and they all get put into the best main events at the biggest pay-per-views. It's the most backwards thinking work environment ever, but that's how it is. You work your ass off full-time to get to a part-time position at the WWE. That's how that works. And then, let's see here. BattleBots, you can still get tickets for some of the tapings. So if you want to go and be a part of BattleBots, that's coming up. Go and do that soon before the tickets sell out. That's next month. Next month's going to be a busy month. If you'd like a Fan Show shirt, please let me know and we can get yours ordered. And, well, those will go out April. So want to try to sell X number so that I can go to certain places. And instead of just asking for money, it's like I might as well give you a t-shirt in return. And that brings us to the last portion of headlines, which is our IFL recap. Great weekend in the IFL. Not quite the close calls that you were expecting, but some overall very good performances by some teams. We started off the week Friday with the return of Quad City from a bye week, taking on the River Kings, who just got their first win of the season, but it would be short-lived. Quad City put up 58 against Cedar Rapids 36. Quentin Pedroza, your Fan Show official outstanding player Offensive Player of the Week with 6 touchdowns, 4 through the air, 2 on the ground, and over 100 yards receiving, which is very hard to do in the IFL. But that was a phenomenal performance by him, by them, great all around. Then we had on Saturday Sioux Falls Storm on another road trip to the Bismarck Bucks, and they thumped them, man, 52-18. And 2 of the 3 scores from Bismarck came from their special teams. Blake Levin, he was our fan show Kickers Need Love 2 moment of the week for week 4 by ensuring that there would not be a shutout, getting them their first 3 points of the day at their first home game of the season. That was rough. And then Mike Tatum would take one coast to coast, end zone to end zone, 49-yard return against his former team. Very special moment. Your number 1 play of the week, fan show official top 10 plays. And then there was a late touchdown in garbage time. But, man, Sioux Falls looked scary good in that. They really did. Their defense and their special teams, they had a pick 6, a blocked field goal, and then what should have been a rouge, but it turned into a touchdown. Which that's just Tatum trying to make a play. You know, he's trying to be that guy, and I don't fault him for it. Either way, it's going to be points for the Storm. I guess you just got to decide which is better, to take the 2 or let him get 6. But I don't think he intended to fumble in the end zone, but it happens. And then we saw our first meeting of the new rivalry in Arizona, the Tucson Sugar Skulls against the Arizona Rattlers. This game was close in the first half, and then somehow Arizona, I don't know if there's a team better at making halftime adjustments than Coach Kevin Guy in the indoor world. 63-28 is your final there, and Arizona, Nicholas Diavanzo, he's your defensive outstanding player of the week. And then Desmond Epps, your outstanding special teams player of the week for the fan show. I thought both were very well deserved. Desmond Epps, 100 total yards for his kick returns, average of 25, a long of 30. He didn't take one to the house, but he continued to set up his team in great field position, which is a big part of the game, a game of chess, not checkers. And he even forced a fumble on one of their kickoffs for the Sugar Skulls, and that set them up for another score. So I felt that was very well deserved. And Diavanzo, man, that dude's a beast. He's an animal. He's a nightmare for opposing QBs, and I thought it was great that he was able to get in there. He was able to block a field goal that got recovered for a touchdown. He had a sack and tackles for a loss and several tackles. He just did great. He did his part. So those are those, and that will bring us to our power rankings for the IFL. And drum roll here real quick. All right, so your fan show official IFL power rankings for week 4. Number 10, the Bismarck Bucks at 0-3. Number 9, the San Diego Strike Force at 0-3. No change to either of those. Number 8, down 1 from last week, is the Cedar Rapids River Kings with a record of 1-3. And up 1 from last week as a result. They didn't play, but now we're starting to get into who has and has had the better strength of schedule and strength of opponent. So the Nebraska Danger will swap with the Cedar Rapids River Kings as your new number 7 with a record of 1-2. Green Bay stays put at 1-2 at number 6. Number 5, down 1 from last week, is the Tucson Sugar Skulls. Their record 2-1. Up 1 from last week, so swapping places with them, is your Quad City Steamwheelers at 2-1. And numbers 3, 2-1. No change there whatsoever. The Storm 3-0 at number 3. The Rattlers 3-0 at number 2. And your reigning, defending, undisputed IFL United Bowl champions, the Iowa Barnstormers, are number 1 at 2-0. Now, you may think that the Rattlers have had a very dominant performance over their opponents, as well as the Storm, and they have played one more game each than the Barnstormers. However, I will address that with what I found, which is simply that I looked at the records, and I think for the Storm, if my numbers are correct, yes, here we go right here. So Arizona at 3-0 has played 3 opponents, okay, and the combined record of those opponents, wins and losses, is 4-5. And then Iowa 2-0, and those 2 opponents, their combined record is 3-3. Sioux Falls 3-0. Their three opponents combined for, wait for it, 2-8. So clearly, the Sioux Falls Storm have the weaker strength of opponent going for them right now. But even if you take away the Tucson game and you don't count their record, you don't count that loss, it's still just 500 for Arizona at 4-4. But I just feel like champion's advantage in power rankings, if you want to call it that, if there is such a thing, but there is in fan show lore. And so we'll look through the comments one last time here before we get rolling. But those are your Week 4 fan show official power rankings. Number 1, Iowa. Number 2, the Rattlers. Number 3, Storm. 4, Steamwheelers. 5, Sugar Skulls. 6, Blizzard. 7, Danger. 8, River Kings. 9, Strike Force. And 10, the Bismarck Bucks. I expect that to change a lot this week. I really do. And we'll talk about that more this week. And let's see here. Late headline, Bill and Ted Face the Music coming in 2020. That's right. Your pop culture headline that I completely forgot. Adam with the save. He gets a virtual high five for that one. Yes, Bill and Ted. They announced today that they are going to start production and filming for Bill and Ted 3 Face the Music, and it will release in summer of 2020. Excellent! So that will do it for the headlines and for this first portion of the fan show. I encourage all of you to please hop over to the link provided, Spreaker.com/user/thefanshow for my very fun, very lighthearted, very not where's the beef interview with Omar Cook as he talks about his return to the IFL, the San Diego Strike Force, and of course, the comments made by Mike Green. So here you go, guys. Enjoy my interview with Omar Cook. All right, ladies and gentlemen, joining me now, fresh out of retirement, as Omar Cook of the now San Diego Strike Force. Omar, how's it been, man? How you doing?
Man, I'm solid, bro. I'm just ready to get after it and try to get some W's for the home team,
Yeah, you sounded pretty excited based on your Facebook post that I saw. I was excited for you because I thought, it wouldn't take long for you to scratch the itch that is indoor football, but you stayed away for a bit. So I kind of thought maybe you were over the hump and had turned the corner and were kind of enjoying the life of, retirement. But what ultimately made the decision to come back? It's strap him up again.
Well, I was coaching college football during my time off, and I came home to be with my family and start working on my own business. And so now that they have a team here down in San Diego, that's only like an hour from my house. So I just kind of thought, man, I do kind of miss playing the game, and man, it's an opportunity for me to play at home in front of my family for the first time. I'm like, why not? And then, obviously, the team's kind of struggling a little bit, so they needed some DBs, and I just kind of came in at the right time. So it's a good fit for me right now at this point.
Yeah, it has seemed like the secondary has been a point of weakness for them. Of course, San Diego, though, as I've argued on the show since the season started, is that they're a team that, the front office may not be the best, and it's not a packed house in the arena, but it's a team full of competitors that are in it, every game. I haven't seen a single blowout by the Strike Force yet. They're always putting points up in the 40s. So it's glad to see a talent like yours contribute because I think, it's just a few pieces here and there that's all this team really needs.
Absolutely. We have a great offense. Derek Bernard is a great quarterback for this league. J.D. Stafford is a great receiver. They've been putting up some points, putting up some great offensive production. And so to come in on defense, I think that'll help the team a lot. We brought in a few other DBs, some young guys. So to get everybody up to speed, I think this week will be a great test for us against Green Bay to kind of see where we're at and just kind of get things moving. We got to get a W out there,
Yeah, absolutely. And this weekend, you guys are at home, and you will play the Green Bay Blizzard, which is another team that's coming off of a bye that had a great win over Nebraska and then went on the road to Iowa for the reigning champs home opener, and they were kind of embarrassed. So they're like a wounded animal coming into your house. How do you prepare for a game like that, and how have you been preparing since you've taken some time off? Any different regiments for you?
I'm just getting back to basics, man. Just watching a lot of film. So I've pretty much broken down all the game film, and just kind of looking for tendencies and stuff like that. I know after that Iowa game, coming off a big win from Nebraska, then going to Iowa and losing like that, I know those guys are hungry to try to get a victory. And I know that they see us on the schedule and see that they can get a victory against us. And so we kind of want to keep that taste out of their mouth and just go get up, put our foot on the gas and just get a W out there. I know it's going to be a hard-fought game, but I think that we can win this game if we all just come together and do what we're supposed to do, one man at a time, one job at a time.
Do you feel like you had lost a step or two or at all when you went back on the turf for the first time for practice this week?
Going back to practice, it was a good feeling. I didn't feel like I lost a step at all. I actually felt like I got better, to be honest. Yeah, I was kind of surprised. But, no, it's been cool. The game kind of slowed down for me, so I'm able to see routes just kind of develop a little faster. I've been in the league for a little minute now, so I understand the route concepts and things like that. So I just think that I'll be able to make more plays just because I understand what's going on and able to read tendencies and stuff like that.
Now, of course, the indoor game, you talk about the game of football in general. There's a lot of fundamentals, and if you stick to those fundamentals, 9 times out of 10 you can come away with a victory. And then that 1 out of 10, of course, is luck and circumstances completely out of your control, like turnovers or fumbles and such. But for you to come back into a game that you've taken roughly about a year and a half off of, and to put the pads back on and get out there, what do you feel that your contribution, your impact will be for a team that has otherwise struggled the first couple of games of the season?
Definitely coming in to provide a lot of leadership for the young guys. Guys that have never played the indoor game before, just being able to provide them with some valuable tips and knowledge that they can use in the game, and some athleticism back in the back end, you know what I mean? Being able to go up and get balls and make plays like that. So I just think being able to lead by example is going to help the team out and help help the secondary out, you know what I mean? We want to make some plays. I don't think we have any interceptions on the year. So that's the thing that we want to come in for this game and try to capitalize on is getting our hands on the ball.
So it sounds like maybe your time away has put you into more of a contribution and more than just on the field if you're talking about leadership and mentorship to the younger guys. Now, of course, you've done some stuff outside of football. I imagine that coaching has played a large role in the mentorship and leadership roles that you feel you're taking on with this team. But you've also done some stuff with Madden, EA Madden up in Canada, and then you said that you were running your own business now. So what else have you got going on outside football?
So I'm doing the DB work for the Madden video game. So I did Madden 18, Madden 19, and then upcoming Madden 20, which will be out this year. And then I also started my own, I co-founded a business with some other coaches in the arena game. Coach Russell Shaw, who's a former receiver, coach at LA Kiss, Coach Grady Tucker, and then Coach John. I'm not sure if you know his name, but you can go on our website, highestlevel.net. So we have a business called Highest Level Sports, and we basically want to give back to the youth. So we provide youth training for all sports, football, basketball, baseball, volleyball, everything. And it's a non-profit organization, so all of our academic services are free. So we're trying to do like academic competition and give kids what they need to be successful so that they can go on to college and be ready. So we provide educational plans, tutoring services like that, and also recruiting services to help guys get scholarships at the next level. So it's a big step, and I'm excited about working with these guys to get this off the ground.
That's awesome, man. I'm glad to hear that you guys are getting together to give back, because that's such an important thing, about the world of sports, is that it brings people together in such a way, and to be able to capitalize that outside of the actual sport or the game itself and give back is something I think is very admirable and respectable, and a great gig if you can do it. So props on that. What's working Madden like? I've seen some of your photos. You're all dressed up in black. You've got the Nerf balls all over you. Like, what's that grind like?
Oh man, it's a dope experience. It's very humbling. Sometimes I don't even realize how great it is, because Madden touches like millions of people. Like, everybody plays Madden, and I used to play Madden like as a little kid on Nintendo. So like, to actually be involved in making the game, it's been kind of surreal. We go up to Canada a few times a year, and we shoot over there in the studio in Vancouver, and it's nice. They kind of put us up in a nice area, a nice hotel, and everything like that. And yeah, we just spend time having fun and making the game. You know what I mean? It's awesome time, awesome experience. I'm just very thankful for it.
Well, that's good, man. So I'm glad to see that there's clearly other opportunities for athletes out there. I mean, it doesn't have to start and end with the game of football. There's so much more that you guys can do. I think that it's really great that you've found unique opportunities outside of football. I mean, Madden may not seem that unique to somebody that's actually doing it, because you're still doing DB work like you were in the league, but it's just one of those opportunities that I'm sure not a lot of players have ever thought about going down that avenue. And to see you do it, I think is something really special. So glad to see that working out for you. I'm very excited and stoked to see you take the field this weekend with the Strike Force and see you back in action. Which brings me to my last thing here. Mike Green said that you're too damn old to be strapping him back up and coming back. And I just wanted to know what your thoughts were on the comments made of fellow defensive back Mike Green.
Mike Green, man, that's my boy, man. It's always fun between us. You know what I mean? But I'm only 26. You know what I mean? So I'm still young. You know what I mean? But I mean, I don't feel any different. I'm ready to get after it. I'm excited. I just can't wait to get back on the field and make some plays, man. To be honest.
Now, are you going to send him highlights every week until he starts up again with the NAL to make sure that he realizes and remembers that you're not too old for this stuff?
Oh, absolutely. I might even tag him in some posts on Facebook. I'm going to be watching his games. I'm going to point out everything that he's doing. You know what I mean? I got to get at him.
Oh, that's great, man. Well, I'm glad that you still have a big support system throughout not only the IFL or California, but other places as well. And I know that we're all very excited to have you back, and the Strike Force could really use you. So it'll be good to see you under those arena lights. And, indoor football and arena football, pretty big in the Midwest and the East Coast. And, of course, it did have some heavy hitters back in the glory AFL days. What's the culture been like, that adjustment for you as far as going from Nebraska to San Diego?
Man, well, I'm a California native, so it's awesome to just be able to play at home, and I'm just going to be excited to have my family here and friends there. So to be in my own environment, I feel very comfortable. I played in places like Nebraska and Montana, which were awesome places to play at, great fan bases and things like that. But to be able to be at home in front of my own people, I mean, that's going to be a dope experience. So, I mean, I'm excited to try to get some wins for the hometown team and show that California can put some wins on the board in the arena game,
That's awesome, man. I think, there's a few players I know that spent so much time away from home, and we got to meet their families that flew in for, a game here or there throughout the season. But when they got the opportunity to play near home, it was life-changing almost for them. It was like a new energy took them over, and I think for you that's really good that you've got that opportunity now here in San Diego. Do you think Norris Wren should make a comeback?
I'm sorry, repeat that question.
Do you think Norris Wren should make a comeback?
Norris is a father now, so he's got some daddy duties, you know what I mean? But Norris is a great player. I think he's more so looking for an opportunity that's closer to his area because he is a dad now. I would love to see Norris come back and play. I would love to see him play with us in San Diego, to be honest. But I know he's got some grown-up responsibilities, so if that was to happen, they get a team in Texas or something where he's at, I'm sure he'd come out and play,
All right, fair enough, man. Well, hey, I appreciate your time. I'm glad you had a good practice today, and we'll look forward to seeing you lace them up this weekend as you guys host the Green Bay Blizzard.
Absolutely. We're looking to get the win, man. Good talking to you.
Hey, anytime, man. You take care of yourself.
All right, you too.
And thank you once again to Omar for making a stop by the Fan Show after his first signing with the team. I think it's a great acquisition for the San Diego Strike Force. And, shout out to him, to Mike Green, Norris Friend. You guys are all great. Very excited for the upcoming seasons of indoor football and arena football alike. And on that note, posted a video yesterday that was, in my mind, very funny, but also very serious. Like, if you attend these games, the walls are there not only to protect the players, but to protect you as a fan as well. So stay in your lane and stay behind the wall, because it's just like, I don't know what guys are thinking, leaning way over the dasher boards to try to catch a ball that's clearly still in play. But it is what it is. Hopefully, lesson learned. That could have been a lot worse than it was. I hope they know. But it's funny to me. Anyway, tomorrow we'll have an all-new episode. Of course, we will give you our preview of the upcoming weekend, which has a few good matchups here. On the IFL schedule, we have the Steam Wheelers and the Sioux Falls Storm, which will happen Friday night. And that, I've predicted personally, is probably the game of the week. Then the Champs are back in action, but on the road again. They'll take on the Nebraska Danger. That one could be a sleeper pick for a great matchup as well. And then Sunday, we'll close out week number 5 in the IFL when the Blizzard take on the Strike Force in sunny San Diego. I'm sure everybody in the Blizzard family will appreciate that one. And they'll go against the Strike Force with the newly acquired Omar Cook. That should be a lot of fun. I think all three of those games have potential to be very close, very good games. But I am going to be paying very close attention to that Quad City and Sioux Falls game. Sioux Falls is still a big mystery at this point. I'm not saying I count them out. Obviously, that would be silly of me to do. But I want to see where they really stack up right now as far as the rest of the teams in the upper half of the league, and that would be the Quad City Steam Wheelers. Because as of right now, Sioux Falls has only played teams that have a combined win-loss record of 2-8. So it's not the best resume at this point in the season, but of course you take the wins where you can get them. Arizona 4-5 against their opponents, or their opponents combined 4-5 record, and Iowa 3-3. So it's going to be a very good weekend. Like I said, I think this would be the weekend that you would start to see a possible shakeup for the power rankings. I'm just ready for there to be more games. It seems like everybody's got a bye week every other week. And then the end of the month, we have Friday. We have a good matchup, Blizzard and Steam Wheelers. Saturday the 30th, we have the Danger and the Bucks, and then the Barnstormers and the River Kings. And then Sunday, we have the Strike Force and the Sugar Skulls, and the Storm and the Rattlers. So at the end of the month, we'll have a full weekend, full slate of games. Holy crap! How are we gonna pick the 10 best plays from those? I've been worried about if there are even 10 worthy plays for the top 10 with just 3 games a week. But we are going to have 5 matchups, all 10 teams in action at the end of the month, and that is when IFL season will be in full swing. So if you haven't jumped on the bandwagon yet, please do so now before it gets too crazy. Go and check out the Fan Show on Facebook, where we post a majority of our content, facebook.com/FanShowOfficial. Follow along on Twitter @FanShowOfficial as well. And then also you can on Instagram, which is simply the Fan Show. And we do have a Snapchat. Don't use it a lot, but it's the Fan Show. as well. And if you can't listen live, if you can't watch the first part live, which I do appreciate those of you that do, but if you can't listen live, then you need to go ahead and subscribe. We have several different platforms that are all made for your convenience: iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and iHeartRadio. Subscribe, they download, you're in the know and up to date. And remember, everyone's a fan of something, and we have something for every fan. So until next time, ladies and gentlemen, it's not official unless it's Fan Show official. Best of luck to you and yours. Go Niners. And, of course, it's all fun and games until you butt fumble. Good night, folks.
Do you remember the time that Mark Sanchez ran into his player's butt? That was funny sports.
Thank you for having me on the show, man. I love the Fan Show.